As a former T. Rowe Price analyst with experience on the trade desk floor, I'm now a best-selling author and a full-time options trader. Through my online trading community, my mission is to empower people of all different backgrounds with the knowledge and skills needed to achieve financial freedom. In particular, I'm passionate about teaching inner-city youth about financial literacy and helping them build a strong foundation for their future success. Join me on this journey as we transform lives through financial education.
Hey guys, so I hope you guys had a great weekend and are ready for the first full trading week of 2024. I know I am. Who do we have in attendance today? I see a few people are on time today. I'm just going to kind of go ahead and get started. So what we're going to do, went through the introduction. We're going to cover the weekly market overview. I got these two transposed. We have lessons learned, recap, chart setups, trade ideas, then the upcoming earnings, economic events, questions, and that's it. So I hope, again, everybody had a great weekend. Let's just go ahead and roll into things. Just 1 second. Okay, cool. So look like people are starting to roll in now. Cool. So let me just go through the disclaimer. By watching or reading this, you're saying you understand the following. I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not trading advice. This session is solely for educational purposes. There are significant financial risks associated with options trading, and I'm not liable for your wins or losses in the market if you decide to act on this information. All right, so after last week, because I'm not complaining about how last week went. I actually enjoyed the volatility a lot. So just looking forward to the start of earnings season. We have a big week ahead of us. Everyone knows. So let's just kind of get into things and see where things are. I mean, where is everyone else? I'm gonna keep rolling, but I'm just wondering where everyone else is. So, but it's cool, just gonna keep going. But yeah, so this is our sector performance last Friday. So we had the before. The before was Friday, the which was that Friday, the 29th, right? And then last Friday was the 5th. So this is the week before, healthcare finished or ended with as the strongest sector, followed by materials and energy, with communication services and tech as the biggest losers, right? This past Friday, we had comms, financials, and utilities leading the market, with consumer staples, real estate, and healthcare lagging the market. So we kind of got and I'm not going to call it a complete inverse of last week, but the ones that were leading last week pretty much are lagging this week. And but we do have it actually is in terms of just communication services being at the top and lagging last week, and then healthcare being at the top and then pretty much lagging this week. In terms of options flow, so last week let's just say Friday, a lot of call flow went into Nvidia, AMD, Shopify, Tesla, and Meta. And a lot of put options flow went into Nike, TLT, Microsoft, DLTR, and Pepsi. So, okay, all right, DLTR, that one is interesting. For the week, the top options call options flow for the week went into Tesla, followed by Baba, Myrna, XLF. That's not surprising. And put options flow went into Amazon, Nike, FedEx, TLT, and Amazon. I'm sorry, AMD. Now, I wasn't planning on looking at the Nike chart, but let me make a note to look at the Nike chart because apparently I need to look at the Nike chart. There's a lot of put options flow that was going into Nike, and I want to see why. Every chart tells a story, so let's figure out what story the chart is telling. So I'm just making a note here to review Nike. All right. All right. So weekly market overview, right? So we had the Dow ended down negative 0.6%, snapping a 9-week win streak. The S&P 500 ended down negative 1.5%, the first weekly loss in 10 weeks. The NASDAQ down negative 3.2%, snapping a 9-week win streak. The Russell 2000 was down negative 4%, and the VIX was up 7.2%. The jobs market soared. Like, we got the non-farm payroll data on Friday, and 216K jobs were added in December. Unemployment holds at 3.7%, and wages were up 4.1% from last year. So, that was a lot hotter than expected on the non-farm payrolls, and you see how the market responded to that. But it was just a little mixed because then we had services PMI came out at 10 a.m. and that was weaker, so it kind of balanced out a little bit. Then the market went crazy, but the market absorbed the non-farm payroll data information. I thought it handled it a lot better than I expected it to handle it, considering what we heard in the FOMC minutes, the minutes from the last meeting. They were a lot hawkish than we thought they would be. So it didn't seem like that the rate cut that everybody was looking for, pricing in to the market for March. I don't think that's going to happen. I was telling y'all that last week, before we got those minutes, but the market front ran and that's pretty much what we got. So that big run up that we saw was because, everybody remember the last FOMC meeting and Powell sounded really dovish. And I think it was just more so, I don't know. I don't want to speculate because I do a lot of that. But yeah, market ran up off of that. And now we start getting a pullback. We're getting a nice pullback. We will, take a look at the chart in a moment. My bad. So let me get over here to, yeah. Well, before I go over there, so yeah, but just real quick, the fear and greed index. So we were extreme greed last week, so we're at greed right now. So just wanted to kind of keep an eye on that. But yeah, I mean, I thought last week was a pretty good week. I thought it was a great week in terms of the team. Now, it was we had a short week. We were off Monday for New Year's Day. But we had a pretty much and we had a good week. It was a quiet week, but it was a good week. I kept it light on the trades, but the trades that I did call out, they were pretty cool. We played Tesla, and we played Tesla for the Tesla delivery numbers that came out, and we played that as a strangle. And so yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. I mean, obviously I was going to kind of hit that when we hit the Tesla chart, but I think we can kind of just cover it a little bit. The delivery numbers came in better than expected, right? And Tesla was poised to run. But remember last Sunday, on the first, we actually had a meeting on the first, I believe, right? Yeah, first. And pretty much what I was hoping happened was, I'm like, if Tesla beats these delivery numbers, the market needs to run tomorrow, and or vice versa, because the reason we wanted that is because I didn't want the market to hinder Tesla's move. So it would have been better. It would have been best if they missed the numbers while the market was down, because the market was down on Tuesday. And so yeah, kind of like it prevented Tesla from running, but it also stopped it from falling a lot quicker than it could have. We had a target of 235 for Tesla, it ended up getting there, now there were levels that we were looking forward to break. And so yeah, so we ended up playing a strangle. So it's a lot to kind of, I'm not going to go into that right now, but a strangle is more of like a hedge, right? Where if you're expecting a big move, a volatile move in the stock, but you don't know which direction is going to move. It's not basically everything is based off a chart technical setup, right? But sometimes you got economic events that will cause a stock to move based on whether it's good or bad, or anything can happen that, but if you're expecting a big move, you don't know which way it's going to go, you hedge. So we did a hedge that's called a strangle. That's a different strategy you can use. And based off the type of move you're expecting, when the stock moves in one direction or the direction that you're expecting it to move in, you cut the other side. So we had certain levels. It was like if Tesla loses 246 or sorry, 245, I knew it was going down to 235. That was my thing. So when Tesla lost to 245, I cut the call side. The call side was down $100, but on the put side, we made up that with 166% profit. So, yeah, a strangle strategy it's one of those types of things where um if you just choose a side, obviously you can make more money. But if it plays out, I think in the Tesla situation, we got lucky. And I'm saying got lucky, meaning where you get a chance to cut the other side. Because sometimes you get one of those moves where you don't get a chance to do that. But I would have preferred that, because if it would have just moved dynamically to one side or the other, then it would have printed, and it would have eaten the other side completely. But yeah, so it was a good play out. It was good to watch it and talk to the team about it. We were on Zoom Tuesday. We talked about it, and we just what the expectation was and how things moved. And so yeah, but the market played out pretty well this week. The biggest trade of the week was Meta. I mean, I'm not going to say of course, but of course we had a big Meta trade this week. And yeah, but I mean, how did everybody else do? I mean, anybody want to talk about their week or lessons learned before we kind of get into things?
Um, I don't have much to say about it, but it wasn't a bad week. I think the last 2 weeks we had like um, Monday off. Um,
Yeah.
so that presented like not like a high volume week. This next week will be like the first week where we get like a full 5 days and people come back from vacation. As far as market makers, so they showed their head on Friday a little bit, but probably be fully back next week.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. That
So,
makes sense. And that's true.
yeah.
Thanks, Katie.
I was in Meta on Friday, um, and yeah, it did what it was supposed to do. Antoine called out the trade end of day, um, Thursday. And Antoine knows that I'm very conservative when I play, and I'm very choosy when I pick, whether I'm gonna get into a play or not. Some would say a little scary, but nah, but though that play he gave the commentary, the chart was everything. And then for me, what made me get into it was that he called next week strike. Um, and he knows I'm very big on time. Time is of course, and you can get into a play because I think KD came on and told us that he had got into that same strike for that day. He took the Friday strike. So, that still banged and did what it did. But I like to have time. I just like I said, I play a little conservative. So I want to make sure that in the event that it wasn't gonna play out right then, that we did have time to like kind of work things out and could possibly still make up the money. But it did what it was supposed to do per usual. Um, and just from and I'm gonna just say, like, for people who haven't gotten a one-on-one, I would definitely get one, just because of the different strategies that Antoine kind of tailors what you learn in your one-on-ones to your training style and to what he knows about what you do. So, and I know Antoine very well. He knows how I like to play. So he knows that I work, and that a lot of the times I like to make my moves early in the morning. I like to be able to be in and out because I'm in and out of meetings. And so he tailored the strategies that he taught me based on that. And yesterday, on Friday, one of them just, one of the strategies he taught me, and I just really capitalized on that, and was able to get maximum profit based on that strategy. So I would just push people to definitely book that one-on-one so that you're able to gain that knowledge. And it's not just one-on-one ain't gonna do it. Like I've booked a few, like I've had a few sessions with him. So, you gotta just invest in yourself, but definitely make sure that the strategies that he understand that he's teaching you based on what he knows that from what he's seen, and that those strategies do work, because I've been consistently watching it happen, and I'm like, okay, I need to stick with this. And on Friday, it just did exactly what it was supposed to do. And I said, oh yeah, I'm about to get out right now.
Mhm.
I'm gonna see y'all later. I'm because I had to go to a meeting, but it was right where the price was right where it needed to be, and I got right out of the trade, maximum amount of money, and it was good. So that's all.
No, well, thanks for speaking up and speaking on that. I mean, it was a great great trade. And yeah, I mean, I'm glad that we're starting off the year the way that we're supposed to start off the year. So just a round of applause for that, and just getting back to it, back to business. Again, like I said, cutting down the amount of trades or just taking the right moments, because um one of the things I will say about that is, like, when we were going through that particular trade, like I said, the market was down on Thursday. The market was down. It looked like SPY wanted to go lower, QQQ wanted to go lower. And but when you follow when you follow a specific stock, and try to, and just always tell you to concentrate your forces. So I tell everybody to learn one stock and try to focus on that stock, whether it's in play or not. Just be watching it, keep it on your watch list so you can be the expert of that. And but anyway, it's other stocks, but yeah, just Meta. It was just that I was watching it all day on Thursday, and the market it was a lot of pressure in the overall market. Everything was selling off, and smart money was buying Meta up at a key level that I had. And it just, when you zoom out, it looked like it was going to bounce at that key level. And so I told the team, I said, the market is going down, but I'm betting on Meta. It looked like, basically what I just said to y'all, called the trade out, and that's that. But yeah, so Katie was in calls for Friday's expiry. I had calls for Friday's expiry and this week's expiry too. So, but it was just there. So I knew that it was a possibility that, and I did that for multiple reasons. But yeah, it's just all about just at least keeping the chart in mind, and trying to stick to whatever it is that you're doing, and keeping, and also taking into account the economic events and stuff like that are coming up. But yeah, it was a great trade. And just looking for this week to be a great week. We got earnings season started. I'm gonna kind of keep things rolling because I really want to get into what we got coming up, and we got a lot of stuff to cover. But yeah, I mean, it would be good to, I mean, anybody else have a good first week? I mean, it was the first week of the year, man. I mean, and remember, I'm gonna tell y'all, I just want to say this for the members who aren't having, if you didn't really have a great first week, or you just had like an okay, mediocre first week or something like that, remember, these meetings are for you all, to speak up. And like, I'm trying to get intel into what's going on in y'all head, to how your week went. What if things weren't clear, if you didn't participate because you have issues with certain types of trades, or you don't like to play economic events, different things, because that we can unpack any of that stuff during this meeting. But when you stay silent, I assume that everybody understand the assignment, and then we keep it moving. But that's cool too, so there's no pressure. But just know that this is a time where you can open up and speak up and talk about what you need help with, or what didn't go well for you, or things that did go well for you. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, great week last week. We resetting it. Like I said, we finished the last year with over $40,000 per option, for as the entire team. And again, like I said, when we say per option, if you only grab one particular option for each trade that I called out in 2023, you made $40,000 at least. If you grab two, you made $80,000 on the year. And this is net profits after you subtract your losses from it. So we had a great year. I'm looking to top that year. So, we just gotta, and I know we're gonna top that year. So yeah, so it was just a lot, but I just want everybody to keep the energy that you had last week. Keep the momentum going. We're up profitable and positive on the year. So let's just keep that going one day at a time. Don't overthink it. If whatever you have issues with, just think about those things and just focus on one thing at a time, and you can make it happen. So, and that's what I'm here for. So let's keep it going.
Oh, I forgot. I also did well on IWM. IWM was a really good play. Even when it was running up, I kind of stayed focused on that as well, and just rolled my contract to the 8th. I think we had the 5th, and I
Thank
rolled
you
it to
for
the
saying
8th.
you rolled that. Go ahead, keep talking.
And I decided, I was like, yeah, I felt like it was still, I still believed in the play. Antoine hadn't said to cut the play. So I said, okay, I need to roll this contract, and ended up still being up, I think about 50% on that one. So yeah, that was another good play that this week.
Yeah, nice trade. And then we're gonna talk about that chart in a second on IWM, because I thought that yeah, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna get to that too. I got a few charts that we gotta get to. And yeah, but no, that's good. Let me see. All right, so I'm just gonna move along. All right, so are we going into chart setups already? Chart setups already? As a matter of fact, before I do chart setups, I want to hit I think I should hit the I'm gonna hit chart setups, because we know we got CPI this week. We don't really have a lot going on, but I'm gonna hit our chart setups right now. I feel like we should I don't know, I just want to kind of be more I'm gonna start with SPY. Let's just hit with SPY first. Yeah. Not gonna go too deep into that. But yeah, we gotta start with SPY, man. So for those who don't know, SPY is an ETF that tracks the S&P 500. The S&P 500 contains the top 500 stocks on the New York Stock Exchange. So we use this. To me personally, SPY, we trade it, but SPY is also like our gauge. When you want to see, if I want to see what the forecast for the market is going to be, I'm going to check SPY first, because SPY is tracking the top 500 stocks on the New York Stock Exchange. And based on its sentiment, it's kind of going to give us an idea of what's going on. And what we have right here on SPY, this is a daily chart. So each one of these candles represents one day of price action. We got a double inverse hammer. We rejected the non-EMA, and it got caught here so we got a 222 continuation to the downside with a double inverse hammer, but we got it finished green on the day, barely, but it finished green, and it clipped the 21 EMA right before the close, clip that, so there is a possibility that it could bounce right here or get caught here because of the fact that it caught that. We finished with higher volume than we did the previous day, and it was bull volume. So, these are things to keep to take into account. Now, the market had been running up for so long. I think the market probably continues to come down now until CPI is Thursday, but we'll have to see what happens. We don't have any economic data until then. Now, this is the weekly chart on SPY. And yeah, I just don't really like the way the weekly looks. It looks like we have some room down. We will have to see. It looked like it wants 462. Now, I will say this, a few fun facts. I like a good fun fact, right? So on this last week, on this exact week, 2 years ago. And the reason I got to go back 2 years, because that was the last time we were up in this range in these levels, right? That was when we hit the all-time high of 471.81, 479.81. So the way SPY finished on the weekly was how it finished then, similar to that. And then we gapped down the following week. It was the same price action. Everything was pretty much the same. So, and sad to say this now, again, I don't really like to, we just back test things, numbers don't lie. So we can go back and you can back test anything. And I'm just quoting what happened before. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but typically how the first week of the year ends or how it goes is pretty much the direction of the market for the year. So yeah, I'm not really too sure about those rate cuts and all of that. I think we probably get them in the second half of the year. But look, this is the thing. All we saw so far was the jobs data. So now let me just add a little more color to this, just for people to try to understand. If the Fed was going to cut rates, that means that the tightening was going to be cut as well, right? So that means they were going to stop tightening and just putting so much restriction on the economy, right? So that means interest rates and all of that is going to come down and people are going to start buying, all of that other stuff. Now, the Fed only cuts rates when they feel like something is going wrong or something could go wrong, just to kind of, to stop things from being even worse. Because remember, they only started increasing interest rates or just tightening so that way they can get inflation under control. So we got inflation coming down year over year. We got our first CPI reading on Thursday and PPI. Yeah, so we got CPI, PPI coming up this week, right? And we'll see if it continues to come down, because if inflation is continuing to come down, that's good. But if the jobs is just if the economy is just going to keep getting better, we just got to see, because I feel like if the economy is growing too fast, then the Fed's not going to cut rates, because there's no reason to cut rates right now. He may just, keep that pause or whatever. But yeah, so that's what we got to keep in mind. And that's why it's important to understand that that's the whole sentiment of what the Fed may do affects what the market does. And again, the market ran up like this because they felt like the Fed was going to cut. But now I'm like, unemployment is holding, but it's not really, it's not doing, it's not increasing. Jobs is going up, and that jobs number, we added a lot of jobs. So yeah, but anyway, I'm not going to go on a tangent about that. But yeah, so that's why the market, it was a lot of weakness. So what I think could save the market is earnings season, right? So we're going to get our first look into what the economy thinks, or what the big banks think about the economy. So that's why it's so important. We listen to a lot of these earnings calls, and I'm gonna segue right into JP Morgan after I hit QQQ. So JP Morgan had hit all-time highs last week, ahead of earnings. So it's a lot going on. But that was one of the sectors that I felt like was going to front run this year, because it got beaten down so much last year, the financial sector. So possibly we got to see how this plays out. But if the Fed decides that they're not going to cut rates, that's going to hurt the banks. But the banks actually did pretty well during the higher interest rates stuff too. But yeah, so that's what's going on. But yeah, I think as a possibility, SPY comes down here. And so we'll see if this 21 EMA means anything, but there's really nothing stopping it from going lower. It just seems like it's set up to go lower. So we will see what happens, right? But yeah, so just keep this in mind. Like I said, I feel like if we lose the 467.90 price level, then SPY is likely going to go down to 462. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm looking for. Like a move down to 462. And there's a gap. There's a small gap here at the what is that? At the 464.10 price level, but I don't think that's going to be substantial enough to hold it. I think it comes down to 462.67, somewhere down there. So we'll see what happens if that actually happens. But if we manage to make a move to the upside, now again, there's some room, because you got to look when we get these types of wicks where where we got some range. SPY can actually stay within this range and still have a nice day, right? Or a nice week. But I think, and it's a big possibility unless it gaps down overnight, which we will find out how China feels tonight when the market, when the futures open. But yeah, so it's since it lost this 9 EMA, it's been rejecting it. Even after having good days, it's just been rejecting it. So, but yeah, there is some range here. So you look, so what was that? Yeah, so over 470, 470, 45. Then I'm gonna say over 470, 70. Over 470, 70, then we can probably make a move up to 472 and then maybe 473, because there's a few gaps up there, but would not really be trying to me, that's not a big enough range to even play. I mean, it is. Yeah, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. To me, I'm looking for a downside move, but again, that may not happen. We'll have to see how the market plays out. And but yeah, let's go over to QQQ really quickly. So QQQ is an ETF that tracks the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ 100 has the technology stocks on there, and we have some bank stocks in here. But bank stocks are technology stocks because you need the best tech in the world to protect the bank, right? So yes, we got some bank stocks in here too, but this is a lot worse. Now, the name, every chart tells a story. The name of this chart for me, if I had to name it, was QQQ wants 390. It wants 390. It just looks like it wants 390. We got a is that outside? Hold up, let me just see something really quickly. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. I was ready to say, is that outside? Yeah, but we got a double reject off of the 21 EMA. We got the 9 EMA about to cross below the 21 EMA, heading towards the 50. It looks like it wants 390. It wants that 50 EMA, and it looked like that's where QQQ is headed. Now, there are a few stocks that could save it. Now, the stock that's been affecting it the most is Apple, the biggest stock on the planet. So we will get to Apple in a minute. But yeah, it looked like it wants 390. So under 396.75, that's just my target. 390 is the target, so add some time on that and play that accordingly. But 390 is look like where it's headed. Now look at the weekly chart. The weekly is really ugly. We took out a lot on this chart, and again, blame Apple for a lot of it. I don't see any situation where it doesn't complete that move down to 390. Again, you may have to add time for it to happen, but it looked like that's where it's headed to. And we got a lot of strong volume, bearish volume to support this. Now, look, on the daily, see, this is why it's important to zoom out too. On the daily chart, you see that strong volume that came in, that bull volume at the end, and stopped it from finishing red on the day, right? But that's just one day of price action, which is cool because it takes one day to flip, right? To flip a whole stock, right? But that weekly, man, that's a strong weekly candle after that gap down. So we'll see how it plays out. It looked like it ends at 390 or finds a way down to 390. And yeah, that's just what I got right there for QQQ. Yeah. I'm gonna hit IWM. I know I said JP Morgan, but I'm gonna try to hit the indices and hit those ETFs first. So IWM, like KK was just talking about, is an ETF that tracks the Russell 2000. The Russell 2000 contains the small cap stocks. So small cap stocks got a lot of room to move because during the well, I'm gonna call it, we can call it, people don't want to call it what it was, but we had an earnings recession in 2022. And so, the first thing that people do is cut the small cap stocks. They're not profitable, most of them. They don't have free cash flow. And a lot of some of the companies didn't even make it back out of the a lot of companies just didn't make it back out from the recession from after, I'm sorry, not the recession, the pandemic. So yeah, so this is what, but they've been running a lot because the whole idea of the Fed cutting rates, the small cap stocks like that, because then there's a lot of things that help the small caps thrive in that sort of environment, right? So, but here, look at this stock. Look at this chart. So this is a daily chart. Again, we got a lot of these charts, a lot of the indices, they look similar in terms of the price action. We had move down. We got a double reject off of the 21 EMA here with inverse hammer, double inverse hammer, just like on the last two charts that we saw. But this one's just a little ugly. And I think this is that outside? Hold up. 49. Nope, that's not outside either. I want an outside candle so bad, man. But I don't see one here yet. Yeah, so we got double inverse hammer, but they came in and it finished green on the day. But look at this candle on the weekly. Here's an ugly situation. Two gap already got filled. We created a bearish gap right there. And yeah, it looked like it just wants to get down there to 187. Look like that's where it's headed, towards 187. And that's my target, down to 187. Now, again, you're going to get retest and moves and stuff like that, but that's the target that I have for it. I don't see anything that supports a move to the upside at this point. Now, obviously, if we were to take out 495.50, let's call it 495.50. But I'm gonna call it 495.50. Then we can possibly make a move to 197 and possibly get rejected at the 9 EMA. See where it could possibly go. I mean, get over there, then we can make a move. But we play that accordingly right now. And again, when the market sells off like this, you're looking for sometimes a relief bounce or something like that before a continuation to the downside. But yeah, just keep an eye on it, because again, it ran up a lot, so it has a lot of room to give back. Now, we look also here, just a quick look at the monthly on here. We still holding that breakout. So when you zoom out, there's a lot of room. And this was remember we talked about this last month, because this is why it was on our radar so much, because of how long it's been in this downtrend. I told you it's been hell for the small cap stocks, and we got that breakout. And so it has some room, but it's inside on the monthly right now, and it's bearish on the monthly, but we still holding that breakout. And again, this is a monthly chart, so each candle represents 1 month of price action. So it takes a long time for that candle to kind of make sense, or for it to even make for it to help us out in any way. Now, the weekly chart was interesting for me. This was one of the reasons why we started that position last week. Look here. So this is a weekly chart, and look at this channel. So price came up here. Every time it came up here, we got a rejection. So we came here, we got to this point, rejected that with the 222 reversal, and then we lost the key support level here. So that's why I have 187 as my next target. And then we got a candle confirmation below this level. So that's why I was looking at that. But yeah, and then we had a lot of bearish volume that came in to support that. So yeah, it just looked like it wants to continue to go down. So we will keep an eye on it. And I know I'm going to forget it, so I'm going to try to jump over to it now. I'm going to jump over to JP Morgan really quickly. JP Morgan is going to be very pivotal. And man, how the hell no comment. JP Morgan, man. But yeah, here's JP Morgan. This is the weekly chart right here. And this is, hold on. And this is the daily. I'm just going to close that. Yeah, throw that out for a second. Now, again, like I said, we hit all-time highs. I don't really like stocks at all-time highs. I don't like it at all. Now, so a few things to say about JP Morgan. Number one, they got earnings on Friday, and it's one of the biggest banks, and it's going to, what they have to say regarding earnings is going to be very pivotal to what could happen with the rest of the banks, number one. Number two, with the rest of the economy, because they're going to give us their full year guidance. And that's what I'm most looking forward to hearing about what they feel is going to happen for Q1 and just for the rest of the year. Excuse me. So right now, for this upcoming week, they're pricing in a $6 move in the stock. And personally, now, just hear me out. Hear me out. Personally, look how much has run up since the last earnings, right? So they need to come in. They need to come in hard and really crush this earnings and guide up, or the stock gonna fall off a cliff for earnings. So Let's just see how it plays out this week, because there's so many caveats for this week. So I can't say the only caveat we got CPI and all of that. So let's see if the stock continues to run up heading into earnings Friday, but CPI is on Thursday. But look, another thing, we talked about this. The market was dying if you only pay attention to certain stocks or certain sectors, the market was dying, right? Not JB, not the financials. We're gonna look at that ETF too. But look how it was moving. This was all week right here. And this is the weekly chart right here. But it was running all week, and it sustained most of its gains. Finished. It only pulled back about $1 heading into the close. Finished green on Friday. Really, really nice chart. Been riding the hell out of the 9 EMA. Looked like it wants to go higher. I mean, but right now I see a little resistance right here at those all-time highs, but let's see what happens. I mean, it could run into earnings. Now, what I would like to see personally is if they're going to beat earnings or something like that, at least pull, man. Come on, give me a pull back down to like the 168 or something. I mean, personally, I would like a move down to like I would like to move down to 166, maybe 161, closer to the 50, because yeah, I just don't like stocks that run up this hard into earnings, because again, they're front running the earnings. And if they don't come out there and smash these earnings, blow these earnings out of the water, the stock won't fall off a cliff. It might make a $10 move all the way down. You know what I mean? So we'll have to keep an eye on what happens. So again, I'm not making any call on earnings right now for JP Morgan, because we need to see the price action, how it's going to play out throughout this week, and go from there. Because like I said, right now they're pricing in a $6 move. It might make $6 move before earnings come. You know what I mean? So then they'll have to rework that, and we'll see what they price in around that. So let's keep that in mind. Look, and then for the first time, and I don't know how long, Bank of America got earnings on Friday instead of having the earnings the following week, because they normally have Bank of America and Goldman Sachs have the earnings the following week. And so they got them all having earnings this week. So but yeah, gotta keep an eye on that one too. B say BAC, bringing this up really quickly. But yeah, I'm gonna pull up that chart too real quick, since we're talking about financials. Before I go to Bank of America, let's look at XLF. So XLF is the ETF that tracks the financial sector, right? And look at this beautiful chart, man. Beautiful chart. Hold on. I didn't mean to do that. All right, there we go. So right here, look at this chart here. Now, we got a long way to go on this chart, but I like the fact that it's setting up the breakout, right? We got a nice continuation, a 222 continuation here. And we got a little bull flag setting up right here. Well, it's already kind of breaking out of it or whatever, but still flagging here on the daily chart. Now, safer thing to do, instead of choosing individual financial or bank stocks to trade, some people trade the ETF. And instead, I mean, unless your last name is Radway, then you may not want to play it. But outside of that, yeah, this is a safer way to play. And just to look at it now, it'll be damn. Bank of America had a nice move on Friday. Hold on. Let's see how they look on the weekly. Sheesh, look at that. Look at this chart on Bank of America, man. We got a brick, man. Now, so I was looking for an outside candle. We got an outside candle on a weekly. So for people that don't know, when this candle took out the top and the bottom of the previous candle. So it's considered an outside candle. And so yeah, it fully, and it is an outside candle and a bullish engulfing on Bank of America, front running their earnings. So and again, this is a cheap stock, so they're pricing in a $1.5 move on the stock heading into this upcoming week. Now again, look how hard for the last few weeks. I mean, we got a consolidation here, then it broke out. Again, remember, I told y'all last year, man, that finance is going to run this year. But look at this breakout. We got a nice bull flag breakout here. And Yeah, so it has some room. It has some nice room on it. So this is one of the stocks need to really be just keeping on watch this upcoming week. Again, I like Bank of America. I don't know what the earnings look like, but I'm pretty sure they'll probably beat earnings, but we will have to see. I'm not, calling their earnings right now. Let me just see something. Hold on. Bank of America, man. Bank of America. Hold on. But yeah, so just looking at just the way the chart is and just that I like a bull flag, a nice flag, or just a wedge in general. Always looking for wedges and stuff like that. So I just like the way this stock is setting up, and I like a breakout. Holding at 90 MA, we got that move up. So yeah, if we can get over, and again, this is just the earnings run up trade. You don't have to. This is something that you would be trading or holding through earnings. I'm saying if we get this momentum to continue, because it's crazy, you would not have thought the stocks were moving like this, considering the way the rest of the market was moving, and or a lot of the market was moving. But if we can get over, if we can break the 34.70 price level, we should be able to make a move to 35.05 and then close that gap at that bearish gap at 35.35. So that'd be a nice move. If it take out the 33.70 price level, then we can probably make a move down to 32.88. And then there's a gap down here also that could possibly be filled. Let's just see how this plays out for Bank of America heading into this upcoming print. Now, again, a lot of these stocks, man, we play certain stocks and we keep certain stocks on watch, but when earnings season is starting, we have to, it's a good idea. You only want to play stocks that are in play. If a stock is not in play, you don't play it. Like people say, well, I know you trade Meta all the time. We don't trade it all the time. We trade it when it's in play, right? So gap down here at 32 price level that can possibly close if it was to break down and lose that 9 EMA or whatever. So yeah, but keep Bank of America on watch, man. I like the way this chart looks, and it looks great. It looks great heading into earnings. So now we got a catalyst to trade this stock. Let me see what Citibank looks like, just because, okay, Citibank was moving all week, and it was one of the stocks that I was telling y'all to watch out for last week. Damn, I didn't even pay attention to this, but it's cool. Meta did what it was supposed to do last week. And but this is the move on the weekly for Citibank right here. This is a crazy move on the stock. But like I said, those banks gonna break out, man, because they're gonna break out. They've been the Fed's been restrictive, too restrictive, and now things starting to look up a little bit, and we getting some light at the end of the tunnel. But we got to see what earnings say, because again, let's just see. But yeah, I like this weekly chart on here. Finished inside on the daily, and it looked like it wants to make a move. I feel like if we break out of here, it's going to make a nice move. So I'm saying a break over 54.75, and we can possibly go up into 56.74. Again, they got earnings on Friday too. Another good bank to trade, Wells Fargo. Now, keep in mind, all of these banks are cheap, man. The banks are cheap to play, but so that you get some time. Now, remember, several weeks ago, man, I put this on the team's watch, man, when it first broke out of here with this candle confirmation. I didn't watch it myself after this, but it made a nice move. It's been making a nice move ever since. But nice breakout, beautiful wedge break here. So you see a lot of these stocks, these bank stocks, they look similar, man. This is a nice one. I really like the way this is set up here, and it looked like we can make a nice move on this stock, because just look at how hard it was been running the last few weeks. We got a pullback. It held that key level right there, and it looks like it wants to go higher. So we got some room here on Wells Fargo. So let's see what happens. And plus, I like a bull flag breakout. We got some good volume. It wasn't really strong on Friday, but I thought it was substantial for that breakout and then continuation that we got here. So, so yeah, so just keep an eye on this, because I feel like if we can take out that 50.77 price level, we can make a move up there to 53.30. Now, obviously, you would have to add some time on that, but I like the way that is set up. on here. So look, all right, so let's move on to some. Well, no, I'm gonna hit Delta Airlines really quickly because I'm right here and they got earnings on Friday. Sheesh, beautiful, beautiful daily chart on Delta Airlines. Sheesh. Okay, the weekly looks great too. The weekly looks great too. Okay, man, I love this daily chart on here. Look at that volume that came in on here. So beautiful breakout with the candle confirmation close on this stock. Loving this, loving this, loving this right here, man. Loving the way it's set up, man. Ain't nothing like a nice chart that sets up for you. And I'm liking the way this is set up right now. Now, I want to take a look at something really quickly. Hold on. Now, we've played Delta a few times, and yeah, this is a nice one. This is a nice one. Like when you get volume like that, man, look like we about to get that. We about to turn that corner. We got the EMA stacked up like that, but I love that price. I don't know if any news came out or anything. We closed over a key level, and it just looked like it want to make a nice move, man. So I see a gap fill here on the daily that it looked like it wants. So let's see if we can actually make that move and get to that gap fill. Now, obviously, there are traffic lights before you get to that light, right? And I see another small gap fill area too, but I'm just looking at where I think it can actually go based off of that momentum that I see off of that 222. Now, that's a 212 reversal that we got right there. And so yeah, like over 40.75, and we should be able to make a move to 41.50, and then 42.34 would be the next move on that one. Again, I think they got earnings on Thursday, but I will get to that in a second when we get to the earnings that are coming up. But yeah, I like this chart, man. Now look, I'm going through a lot of charts, man. So it's going to be some of y'all responsibility to keep them on my radar this week, man, because I'm going to be focused on, if we in a play, we're going to be focused on the trades that we are trading, and the ones that, like, if I call out a trade, I'll be focused on that. I won't be watching some of these stocks, but a lot of these are to be watched. So United Health got earnings on Friday as well. They pulled back nicely with the rest of the sector. So, but it still held the non-EMA. That was key. And I like that 222 reversal, 212 reversal on the weekly chart. Looked like that was a nice substantial pullback before continuation. I like the way it came up here, but it rejected a key level, and but it held a key level. So this could be a nice mover for this, or earnings run up play, or after earnings trade, as KD would say, right? But yeah, so keep this on watch, because again, I like a stock that hold the non-EMA like that. It came down, filled that gap, and then bounced off the non-EMA. So let's see what it does, because I don't like stocks like this that I don't like stocks that are trade stocks that are like into earnings and stuff like that. Like, we've traded this stock a few times here, and I know KD has traded it more recently, but when I see a setup, I see a setup. That was a nice setup right here, nice bounce, and it looked like we can make a nice move on this stock. So again, just keep this on watch. They got earnings. There's a few levels that can actually get hit on here. I will chart it later, but yeah, just keep it on watch. Keep it on watch. It's set up nicely for continuation, or depending on what happened with earnings. So yeah. All right. So look, all of these stocks last week that we had, right? We had a lot of stocks that were that got sold off, so a lot of pressure. Now Tesla came down here, held the key level, and it also held the 200 EMA, right? We rejected the 50 but held the 200. It went up and it tried to break out, it failed. We had this breakdown, it could not contain this. Now we got the 50, about the 9 about to cross below the 50. Now all of this, personally, I don't know what's going to happen with Tesla. Tesla's a tricky one. It held the key level, and it's a possibility that it bounced, especially if the market bounced. But then sometimes Tesla bulls like to come in. I showed y'all the order flow that was coming in, and it looked like Tesla had the highest call options flow on the week. So we don't know. That doesn't mean that that it's going to run this week doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything, right? But just to keep it on watch. Tesla is one of them explosive stocks. We know that is explosive, and Tesla moves like about $9 a day. So yeah, so he's keeping on watch. What I feel like, because again, the numbers did come in good. It held the key level, but if we lose, because last week it played out to perfection, but if we lose 234.90, we should be able to make a move down to I don't even like that, man. I'm gonna say if we lose 234, let's just say 234, because that move is not worth it down to the 200 EMA. If we lose 234, then we can make a move, a big move. Otherwise, it's not worth even touching it because it's just not worth it for a bounce. If it makes a move, if it lose 234, it's coming down to 233. It's going to close this gap down here at the 223.71 price level. And that's what I would keep an eye out for. But Tesla's a little tricky. It finished green on Friday. And so if we can take out 240.15, we probably can retest 242. See, that's another move that's a cool move, but Tesla would have to, that range is a little too tight for me. So let's just say if we can break over a move over 242.18, then we can then we're back in business. Over 242.18, then we can possibly make a move to retest 246.42, which is another key level, and possibly on from there. But let's see how the market moves. Again, it's a lot of economic data that's gonna dictate price action. So let's see what happens with that. Yeah, so keep Tesla on watch. Let me hit Apple first. All right, yeah, because man, Apple, I ain't like the Apple chart, man. And Apple caused a lot of turmoil in the market last week. But yeah, let's discuss this Apple chart, man, because if Apple loses 180, it's over. If Apple loses 180, it's over. So let's just let's see what Apple does here. Bring up that weekly on Apple. It's an ugly weekly chart, man. We gotta just be straight up, regardless of what you want the market to do, man. Apple, this weekly chart is ugly on Apple, but come on, what's going on? There we go. All right. So yeah, we got a 222 continuation. It gapped down 2 days in a row. It looked like it wants to get down there. So and again, we had a lot of selling pressure on it. It came back and it didn't, but the weekly just shows it tells a different story. The volume is just the bearish volume is too crazy. It looked like it wants the 177.64 price level. I mean, we got the 200 EMA first though at 178.31. But so if we lose 180, so I said if we lose 180, the next move down will be 178.31, then 177.64. So it looked like it wants to go lower. I don't see any reason why it doesn't go lower. Now, Apple, sometimes I've seen this happen before. Since they've got like multiple price target downgrades, and that just kind of sent the stock even running even more. But we already had the non-EMA cross below the 50. So typically now, we like to play those non-EMA 50 EMA cross-ups or crossovers, because look at this here. When it crossed up, the stock ran like a bat out of hell. So you go back and check. Here's a time before. Now, remember, EMAs are a lagging indicator. So by the time the EMA cross over, the stock is already making the move in that direction. So let me just see how many days it was right here. So right here at the time where we got the crossover, it was time we got the crossover. You see price had already started moving down here, right? So we already were like 3 candles in, and several candles in, but I'm just saying from here, we were down a few candles, right? So now we got the actual crossover, and we still had another lower low here. But if we go here, just to show you, we got this big candle right here. We rejected the top of this downtrend here, and we gapped down, got some a move back up or whatever. But the price was already moving down, so that's what I'm saying. So we got this crossover here. Price is moving down, moved up a little bit, then it came back down. So let's see how price act around here. Now, this one is more closer to what we have going on, in my opinion, here. And yeah, so just keep an eye on what's going on with the price action. But um, a lot of times the stock will come back up and retest the EMA, depending on how rapidly um, price continues to move down. It might catch up a lot quicker. But let's just see what happens. Right now, they're selling off Apple. Um, it's not as it doesn't look attractive as a stock like Meta right now because it's run up so much and yeah. One sec. So yeah, so keep an eye on Apple, man. Keep an eye on Apple. Now again, so to the upside though, if Apple actually makes a reversal for some reason, because sometimes we get that and we take out 182.76, then we can possibly close that gap. Here, we got a gap here, small gap here. Not a small gap at all, actually. We got a gap in this area that could possibly be filled. What is that? At the 184.25 price level. Now that's a nice move on Apple. So again, just something to look at. But I still think regardless, it price comes down, may come up, fill this gap, and then flush. But we see what happens because the weekly just tells a different story, and it just doesn't look like, yeah. Let's just let the weekly plays out. It should at least. I'm looking for a move to 177 for Apple. All right, let me go over here to let me hit Meta. So Meta had a great week. Meta actually, the chart looks amazing, actually. So this is the daily chart for Meta. So this is why we traded it because we had all of these touches off of this uptrend that it's been holding since we got that big earnings breakout. So you see, it's been holding this one for a while. Let me bring this down a little bit so y'all can see it. There we go. Okay, cool. So Meta platform. So we got a bounce, 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 bounce. Right. So we all up here, right? We got that 222 reversal. I like that bounce off of the 21 EMA. We came back up and reclaimed the 9 EMA. We rejected a key level. So remember on Zoom on Thursday, I was telling y'all, I'm like, as long as we Meta hit our targets, we were kind of going through those trades. I'm like, it was a gap fill area, which would be the second target at the 353.96 price level. I'm like, but forget that. We need to get over just 353 and close over 353 first before we can pay that any mind, because that's where a key level was. Excuse me. And we actually rejected that key level, but we still sustained most of the gains. Meta looks great. Let me show you the weekly chart. Wow, man, they came in at the end of the day. Bulls came in on Meta at the end of the day, man. They were not playing on Friday at the end of the day. But look at this. Look at this. So when you zoom out, tell me this chart isn't amazing, man. Look at this. We got a crazy hammer on Meta. So we got a 222 reversal to the downside, right? Well, actually, yeah, 222 reversal to the downside. Meta bounced off a key level and finished as a hammer. So look, this is why I tell you, every chart tells a story. This is why I like this chart so much. And I'm going to pull up the monthly while we're looking at this since we just started. The reason I like this chart so much is because this is our monthly. We inside on the month. We got a hammer on the month. We got a hammer on the weekly. But the reason this is so important is because bears dragged Meta all the way down here and bulls fought all the way back up here and finished as a hammer, finished green on the week with higher volume. So every chart tells a story, man. And yeah, so let's see what happens. And there's a gap there to be filled. Look like Meta wants that gap fill area. And so again, like I said, we got to see what happens with price because again, while the market was selling off, bulls were buying. Well, smart money was defending key levels on Meta, and we were looking to buy up there. So if we can break over 353, actually right now for Meta, for me, man, I need to move over 354. I want to move over 354. We get to move over 354, then we can retest 360. And that's what I'm looking for Meta. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for on the, for the upside. Now, again, there's the only problem about Meta on the downside is there isn't, yeah, right now, I just feel like there isn't enough room unless Meta is gonna, because we right here at another key level and at this uptrend. So you can play it a few ways. If you can either play it when it breaks out or wait until it comes back down, retest these levels, stuff like that. I'm gonna be watching it and I'll be alerting trades whereas I see fit, or if we are on Zoom, foxing them together, we'll, figure out how to trade in real time. But yeah, just keep this one on watch. I like the way the chart looks. It looks great, and it is in play. So yeah. Let me look at my list real quick, but I'm gonna move over. I'm actually move on to, yeah, I said I was gonna check out Nike because all of that bear options flow. I'm like, why? What's going on with Nike, man? They selling it again? They said, yo, shit, that's why. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, Katie, before I say anything about your stock, man, because I know you own shares of the stock, man. So I'm just looking at the chart, bro. I mean, I'm just telling the story that I see on the chart. I don't want no smoke.
All right. Got it.
Yeah, so we got a outside candle. So look, now we finally got outside candle. We got a double inverse hammer on this, man, and if we can take out 101.90, we can possibly make a move, man. This chart is ugly. This chart is ugly, man. A nice move down to, what is that, 198, or just say 199. And then we got I'm looking for keys. I'm looking for some keys, man. But yeah, it make a few moves down. They got some moves down that it can possibly make. That 190, take out 199, then 196.42. And yeah, they flushed that because it lost the key level. So the next key level was at 190, 196.42. And that's what I would be looking to trade on that for Nike. But that's an ugly move, man. That was an ugly situation. So again, if it finds a way back over 103, 103.70, then it could possibly close that gap fill area up in this area here, which is at the 104 price level. But yeah, so this stock, it doesn't have to move a lot to make money, but damn, that was a crazy reject off of the 50, and that move down, that breakdown when it lost the key level, it was done. So we saw a lot of the reason for people that got on late, man. We saw a lot of bearish order flow going into Nike. So that's what kind of made me check this stock out. So it looked like it wants to go lower. So yeah, so keep that on watch. Now I'm going to switch back over to earnings for a second, because I feel like, man, so look, this is the thing. This is the thing right here. I feel like if we were to just because we got a lot of earnings and a lot of stocks to look at, we got CPI and all of that coming up. A lot of these charts, they may not play out the way that they look right now because of the possibility of what's going on with earnings. No, actually, one more chart I gotta hit real quick. I gotta hit this chart because we discussed it before, and I think I should hit it. We got to hit the chart. So it's this one stock, man. We talked about it last week, and it's called PDD. They are the parent company of this. I told y'all that's where Peter and KK get their clothes from. And Whitney. What is it? What is it called? Timu?
Yeah, Timu.
Timu, right? So I know this is where y'all get your clothes from, but this is the parent company that owns that. And according to they're a big rival of they're cutting into Amazon's market share. And there's another company called Shein that's complaining about them. And so, I mean, it's a real thing. It's going on in the stock market. This is the company that owns it. This was the last earnings right here. You see how it gapped up from earnings, and it's been holding it and moving higher ever since. So I know a lot of y'all on here buy your clothes from Temu. So, probably got to keep an eye on this stock, right? But no, I'm just kidding. But at the same time, apparently people are buying, like, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. I thought it was a scam app or something at first. I don't know why, but it's on the stock market. This is the company that owns it. It's the Chinese company, and it's been moving up. It's been making higher highs. It got an outside candle on the weekly here. So we got a 212, I'm sorry, 213 on the weekly right here. And it looked like it wants to go higher. So it has, look, this is crazy, man. Again, I don't know much more about the company and what other stocks they own and stuff like that. But again, that app has been causing problems and causing the stock to move higher. So again, it's just something to keep on watch because yeah, it's been a disruptor. So yeah, keep it on watch. And yeah, it came back, pulled back to the 9 EMA on the daily. And yeah, so it looked like it wants to make a continuation, but let's just see. Because again, that weekly finished good, but we got uh over 148.95, and we could possibly make a move. Now it's a small gap there, but forget the small gap, looking for a move to 150 if we can do that. But look, we got this wedge here that is moving. So look, this is wedge here. We break out of this wedge where it's been getting rejected at, then I think it's out of here. So let's just, keep it on watch, man. It breaks out of this wedge here. You got this resistance right here at 150. What is that? Yeah, 150 66. It breaks out of there, then it can make a nice move, 152 all the way up to 170, 169. So keep this on watch. Again, you see it came down here, retested. So look, but just pay attention to this trend too, because although we got the 9 EMA right here and it closed above the 9 EMA, that didn't mean anything. It looked like it pulled down here and retest this down, the uptrend. That'd be a nice place to buy it too, based off of how the price action has been moving. So again, keep it on watch, man. And yeah, so they got a lot of custom people. They got a lot of like I said, a lot of user data and stuff like that. So yeah, keep that on watch. So that's why I had to switch back over to that quickly and hit that one. But yeah, man, let me go back over to our earnings and hit the yeah. So we got Bostic is speaking at noon tomorrow. Bostic, he's cool. He's cool. He's not really a disruptor. He's the Atlanta Fed. So he doesn't really have a lot of bad things to say to kind of move the market. Now, Vice Chair Barr um has a lot of crazy stuff to say. He's speaking Tuesday at noon, so he moves the market a lot. Williams, 3:15 p.m. I don't like when they got Fed speaking around on the around and during power hour, but 3:15, cool, I guess. I don't really know too much about Williams. Kashkari moves the market a lot, speaking Friday morning at 10 a.m. after Goldman's. I'm sorry, after we got to hit Goldman. Matter of fact, I got to hit Goldman chart. But after JP Morgan, Bank of America, and all of them report earnings, then you got Kashkari coming out there at 10 a.m. So what they got him coming out there for? Why they send him out there at 10 a.m. after earnings? I don't trust that at all, man. So we gotta see what's up with that. Why they sent them out here. So let me see. All right. Now again, so we got CPI on Thursday. We got jobless claims on Thursday, but then they got PPI on Friday. So I got my theories about what could possibly happen, but I gotta see how CPI plays out first, man. So again, it's been making moves. We've been getting lower inflation. It's been going down year over year since summer of 2022, right? So since summer 2022, it's been going down. It's been trending down. So let's see if we can get a continuation on that and just how it plays out because yeah, just a lot going on, and I just hope that that it continues down. I don't want any, we don't need any surprises. But again, the market's already pulling back, and I like that. But yeah, and that was the thing I was saying. So we got earnings season starting this week on Friday, and that's going to kind of set everything up. I think that earnings are going to come in strong with for a lot of companies. But if not, again, you'll see what happens. But yeah, so this is the data. Now, a lot of people wonder why this is important, why this stuff is important, because it's like, you decide that you're going to take a trip to the beach, right? You're going to the beach and you didn't look at the weather first, and you get there and a tornado breaks out. Now your picnic at the beach is ruined, right? So same thing with the stock market. You get into these trades and you don't know that CPI is coming out Thursday. You in a nice swing trade, the chart set up nicely and everything, and then CPI comes in hotter than expected and the market falls off a cliff, right? So you got to know what's coming up. It could help you, and you got to know who's speaking too, because you got some Fed speakers that come out and they speak and they ruin, they cause turmoil in the market. So yeah, moving on to the earnings slide. Yeah, so we got, this is the first week of earnings season, so we're kind of light on earnings. I mean, Tilray is on here now. Last Friday, I know y'all heard the talk, that DA talk again about them, you know, uh, um, they talked about it last year too, about moving the marijuana down from a lower level drug or something like that. They talked about it last year, made the stocks run. So weed stocks ran on Friday too. So because they were talking about that, I think it's a schedule 2 or something, or 1. I don't know what the difference is, but it's just something that they're supposed to be doing that they were talking about, and yeah, DEA has to do it, but they made the stocks run it. And then they got earnings on Tuesday before the open. So that's something just to keep on watch to see what their forecast is and to what's going on in the in that sector. So that's one to keep on watch. Now, KB Home got earnings on Wednesday after the close. Just something to keep on watch. Now, like I said, I'm not really paying attention to earnings until Friday, um, because that's when the big banks, and that's when the earnings season really kicks off. So we got JP Morgan, we got United Health Group, we got Delta Airline, so Bank of America, Wells Fargo, BlackRock, Citibank. So we got all of these banks reporting on Friday. Now, again, so we got JP Morgan is the biggest one that will be reporting, that I'll be watching. Obviously, Bank of America, Citibank, and Delta. Now, so Goldman Sachs is not reporting until next week. So based on what happens with them, and I gotta go while we're here, I gotta go check out Goldman really quickly, because I just gotta see what the chart looks like. I like Goldman. We like to play Goldman. Oh yeah, nice bullish engulfing with we got a 223 outside on Goldman Sachs. Nice. And we got an outside on a weekly too. So we got time frame continuity right here, man. Nice chart on Goldman Sachs right here, man. And so we talked about this, when it first, remember, we were foxing this trade since before it broke out. That's why I got these circles here. And so it broke out. We got that run. It bounced off a key level right here, closed the gap, and now so we got another move setting up on this chart, man. Again, this is one of my favorite stocks to play. We played it around here a lot. We made a lot of money trading it here. So it's just something to watch. Again, it's a lot of the move has been, you got to be careful, only because of the fact that what is it? Yeah, because JP Morgan has earnings before Goldman Sachs. And a lot of times you get that big move that takes place and it's setting up right here, already looking to break out. So I say a move over 389.50, and we can make a nice run to 404. That's what I'm looking for. A nice move up there. Obviously there are other levels, smaller levels that you can get to, but I'm looking for that level. I'm just going to see if there are any gaps over here, possible gaps that could possibly. Nope, nothing that hadn't already been filled. So yeah, that's what I'll be looking for. That 404 would be my first price target. So that's a nice move. And you see it's trying to break out, man. It's been rejecting that area. We got a small breakout, a pullback, closed over that 9 EMA, ate the hell out of that last candle, bullish engulfing. I like this setup, man. And look at the volume that came in there, man. So again, like I said, banks are going to front run this year. Well, I really believe so, at least right now. Let's just see. Let's keep this momentum going throughout this week. So we need to keep the banks on watch. Keep the banks on watch because they're going to be the money makers these going to be the money makers a lot. Again, we play tech a lot. A lot of those stocks already ran up. And and I'm not saying they don't have any room to run, and a lot of them do. I think Google is one that has a lot of room to run if they can keep that. If they just need to get some things in order, but Google has a lot of room to run. Obviously, Meta still has room to run. I think Meta gonna take out that all-time high this quarter. So let's see what happens. But again, we're not talking about Meta earnings. I don't know what's gonna happen for earnings yet. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, but let's just keep these on watch. And but it's the bank's time, man. Let's let the bank shine. Don't force anything. Obviously these are stocks that are going to be on our radar. And when there's a setup that I see, then I'll call out the trade accordingly. So yeah, but does anybody have any questions, any thoughts, anything? Okay. I mean, I know we went over like about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, but again, thank y'all for attending, man. I will see the rest of you on Zoom. I'm sorry, tomorrow is Tuesday. Well, I'll see you guys in the group tomorrow. And again, I'm not sure what I'm doing tomorrow. Let's just see what tonight brings with the Asian futures. But based on the way the market closed on Friday, again, let's just keep an eye out for things, man. Let me know if y'all have any questions. I will be in the chat answering questions, and I will see the rest of you guys in the group. And y'all have a good night or enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Good night.
All
Peace.
right. Thank you, Angela. Have a good Sunday.
All right.
Y'all have a good
All
weekend.
right.
Thank you.
Enjoy your
Good night.